say is social media definitely has an impact in the disconnect of going to church. I feel like I would say TikTok is more so like the biggest social media disconnect for the simple fact you can learn every single thing on TikTok. You can learn how to read. Normally they teach math classes on TikTok. So I feel like people probably think if you can learn things like that, which is like school related in TikTok, you can learn things that like are church related when it comes to like whatever you want to know. I feel like it's easy to just look it up. Like you don't really have. I feel like they don't really feel like you have to go into. You don't have to go to church, or some people even feel like you don't have to go to school because they can learn on social media, and that's kind of how I feel like the youth is now. Like a lot of people don't go to church, a lot of people don't go to school. Also, I think another factor could be COVID. And that was like a downfall in everybody being so close together. I think once that happened, stuff in general just kind of went down.
So you attribute a lot of it to the pandemic and the lockdown, and people relied more on their devices as a means of communicating and socializing, that they don't want to kind of go back.
That's like a way you had to learn in a way. You couldn't go outside, so people just learned how to communicate virtually. They also have church online, so people are also gonna feel like, what's the point of coming in when I can be in the comfort of my home watching my church service, and that's their way of coping with it. So that's another reason for me as to why I think there's a decline in going to church.
So when you said like TikTok and other social media outlets, are there like open lines of communication that you're aware of, ways that, let's say if a person was doing a specific Bible study or they were involved in a specific Bible class, like are there means of communicating, like if they have questions, what are you doing, like what are you just typing the questions in? And
so there's people on TikTok now that you can live stream and they can read your comments, and either they answer your comments or they just show you what's going on at church service. So it kind of just depends. I don't know. I guess that's how they have it set up. But normally, when you go live on TikTok, you can comment whatever you want to comment, things like that.
Okay.
So you can ask about service, or how does
You can ask about anything you want to. Anything. Any question you have, you can ask about it.
So you never need. There's no need to come into a building.
Not necessarily, no. And especially if I know there's a church service online that sometimes I'll watch, but that's another way, or another reason people don't go, because you can comment, you can watch it, you can play it back in case you miss something, you can do it on your own time, stuff like that. So I feel like that's another decline.
Interesting.
TikTok is pretty popular, so I have to believe it on that. That's one of my favorite platforms.
But I didn't know you could do all that.
Yes, I didn't know it was interactive. That's quite interesting.
They have different TikTok entities, and they have the Christian music, they have the hip hop, they got the trap music.
You can DJ on TikTok.
Several DJs.
And some people get paid from it too, so that's another reason
It's
why.
monetized,
Yeah.
It's monetized, you can pay like
that's just really interesting. So another question that we have is, how can churches become better listeners and more responsive to the needs of people?
Outreach, more and more outreach. You have to invite the people in, actually stop inviting the people in and just go out to the people. If you gotta meet them on the corner, meet them on the corner. If you see them hanging in the park, go in the park and go talk to them. You can feed them at lunchtime, have a little barbecue. Whatever it takes to, reach the people. I think that's one thing you can do.
I was gonna say, I think they need a digital media
Yeah.
department to attract the youth.
Yeah.
That's why you need that department to attract the youth, and that's how you can bring some of your members in and possibly get tied.
So you think that churches today, they should invest heavily
Heavily.
in, social media outlets,
Yes, digital media.
responsive, have a social media ministry. Where you
Yeah.
have somebody that's constantly monitoring,
Yes.
the website that's set up and then, answering questions and, you know, that people may have or.
Because you can have so many followers, correct?
You can
Correct.
have followers, viewers,
Cause it used to be 1,000 followers to be able to set up your
Yeah,
own,
on
to
TikTok.
go live. But I think they even decreased it because they needed that momentum, and once they decreased that amount of followers that you needed in order to go live, boom, people started blowing up overnight with certain things. They'll go and post something, and then so many views and clicks. People just started blowing up overnight. You got some popular DJs on it. It's people doing better on TikTok than if they were to have a live show. So you know how there's a couple of comedians that are blowing up on TikTok, but that are not in what they call the chitlin circuit and all of that to go to nightclubs anymore because they're blowing up on TikTok. They're like, I get more money on TikTok than I do going to the actual clubs.
Wait a minute, you get paid?
Yeah, so it's monetized. You can monetize your page.
Oh.
And they send you a check every Wednesday.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. And one guy said he was very lucrative. He made over $100,000 on TikTok for 1 year. I was like, man, I'm not gonna quit my job, but that sounds good to me.
That's quite
So,
interesting.
Yeah, the people, Then you have things where the other draw is, there's things on there where the youth tend to battle one another. You battle, people throw gifts and money and, so it's pretty good.
Yeah, I would say that's a way to help with church donations, is like the live streams, because people will give you money. They will definitely give you money on TikTok.
So what the church would need is a person to have like a TikTok page to bring the membership, to increase the membership, and then to bring followers to begin with, and that would help.
Yeah, but in a way, it's kind of contradicting though, because if you do that, it's gonna bring less people into church.
Right.
So it's kind of like, I don't know. You gotta
It's kind
have
of like
some type of balance.
6 and 12.
Yeah. I guess if you want the kids on there, then the social media, but like older people, I feel like they would go to church and not watch it on the screen. So you gotta have a balance. That's what I would say.
But if you set up your page to have the youth that you're trying to draw be in your room on your page, to say, hey, we gonna come off of here, we gonna go to church, but this is what we have going on. So that would kind of be like an
And then
idea
tell them to come to
say,
church.
come to church, we having this function type of thing. Y'all come out, and then, because there's people out there that the popular people, what they're doing is they have certain, little gatherings. One lady just had a cruise, they had some type of cruise, and all of her followers paid their own money, they went on a cruise together, so something like that could be encouraging to kind of get that, but the youth, you guys, the youth are gonna be the ones to,
Lead, basically.
you're gonna have to lead, we're instead of you following our lead, we're gonna have to follow your lead in order to get the rejuvenation that we wanted as far as getting youth back involved in the church in a humanistic manner, instead of just watching everything on the tablet.
What type of theological, Bible-based activities do you think will be successful on a TikTok? So maybe that's the question we probably should be asking, like, what type of activities or ministry outreach, like how should the church address that issue, and the needs of that, like I said, at the preteen to, early 20s, mid-20s, that generation that's completely disconnected from the church. Like, how can the church assist them in creating a solid theological background for them?
I don't know. That's kind of tricky. Cause I would say like relate more topics to the youth.
don't think you could have Bible study
Or maybe
without the
trivia questions, or maybe games or something, but I don't.
Cause the youth really they don't play bingo, right? Like, that's, okay. I was trying to figure out a game,
No.
right?
Yeah, it's either the dog coming to church.
We have like gaming,
Oh, a gaming?
like a gaming night.
Oh.
Like if the church was to have like a gaming night,
A game.
and there were a lot of youth there, and then throughout the night, you know, each activity, everything that was going on, is being posted on TikTok, and you're saying, okay, we're in this segment right here, we're doing this, and you know, you can see it with things of that nature, with that kind of spark the interest, or kind of have, you know, younger people like, I want to go by there and see that the next time they have one, or if it's, you know, I guess just a combination of a lot of the activities that are going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like that could help in a way. Also, I know people kind of look at like if I play a game, what comes out of it. So maybe like not treats, but like
Incentives.
incentives would help
Mhm.
because you know people are gonna gravitate towards whatever they can. So yeah, maybe some type of trivia or something that could connect people to the game and also relate to like their lifestyles too. And then yeah, like prizes, incentives, things like that would help for sure.
Okay. So with that being one of the probably the biggest challenges today in with the youth is they're not attending church because they just feel like they're not connected. So how do we go about, what would you suggest, how would you say we go about their parents, the next group, you know, right above the young adults, you know, the 25 to 35, 40-year-olds, that group there, that's a whole separate different group when you're going from preteen to 25. So what suggestions, what things would you think will draw that crowd?
Teach them about life.
Like,
Meaning like, you know, what it is to be a parent, and what does the Bible say about being a parent?
Because that group is coming into their, you know, they're working now, and the realities of life is set in. And so it's like, you know.
so life skills?
Yes.
No, okay.
Life skills,
That's-
parenting
yeah.
skills.
Yes, and what the
Money
Bible says
management.
about that, how you should live, and how you know, conduct yourself.
But that age group right there, they're in that category too, with the younger people, as far as the TikToks, you know, they're probably more than some of the younger people. So what type of media outlets, what type of things you think that the church should do to reach that group?
I think it still has to be social media, so
Yeah.
instead of TikTok,
Yeah.
possibly Facebook, Instagram, so you still have to do that media.
Your media is gonna be your strength, actually, it's almost your foundation to build upon, because that's what everyone's into in some shape, form, or fashion. You have seniors with cell phones at 70, 80 years old. My grandfather was 90 something, and he had a cell phone and a girlfriend. So, age is no discrimination with the technology. So you basically, it appears that you're probably gonna have to build on that, utilize those platforms, that social media platform to be the draw, as well as offer, such things as, this young lady was saying about the life skills. You need parenting, and then you need to come with the money management. You may need job skills, you may need something to help them probably seek better employment so that they can financially support, their family, as well as, you know, be able to go to church, because I don't know about you, but a lot of us work 2 jobs. If we're not working 2 jobs, we work 1 job and we got a side hustle. So with everything that's going on with the economy, it's kind of hard to focus on your spirituality when you feel like you just grinding for just basic living. You know, it's just survival at this point. So how do you add spirituality to your survival and may still make it through, what can we give them to support them to see that they're, you know, if you keep the faith, certain things will happen. But people are, we're tangible people, right? We feed off what we see and not the unseen. So those are some things that we need to kind of approach them with and try to encourage them and keep ourselves encouraged while we do it. We don't wanna transfer their trauma, it's our trauma. You know, and that can easily happen.
And so just on a personal level, because everybody has friends, they have family members, different people who may or may not attend church regularly, or they may at one time been in the church and they experience what we call church hurt, things that happened to draw them away from the church. What things have you learned? And I guess each one of you panelists, you can take a turn and you know, expound on that question a little bit. What things have you learned from people who have experienced those type of things, like as to why they don't want to attend church?
How the older members are very judgmental and can be very harsh with the younger members. I don't know if it's like a lack of understanding or they're rigid in their upbringing, but we didn't have that same parenting style that you had in the early 1900s. So I think they're somewhat rigid, and that could be a turnoff. And and I don't think they mean to turn off people, but they're so set in their ways. You have a tendency to push people away when you